Okay. Can't get the whole thing in there. There we go. All right. So let us go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another reading from the Queen Universal reading session on Wednesdays. Um, just a little bit excited about some things. Um, you know what? I love life because life is always lifing, and it's always going to show you it's lifing. Uh, uh, yeah, it's going to always show you it's lifing. All right. So as adults, we have to play the role, right? Well, okay. So let's see what we got going on here. And I didn't choose my oracle today. So with this reading, this is our tree. Okay, I'm gonna use these. Um, this is our tree spread, and I love this reading. So we're going to use our sacred soul cards or oracles on these. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. I hope you guys are enjoying your I hope you are enjoying your Wednesday. You guys, if you ever get a chance, you can go to my Substack. It is under my real name, which is Salita B. And check out my Substack. I am a coach. I also definitely spend time in my head. And when I'm in my head, a lot of things come out. So, I wrote today about not feeling like we're enough. You know? So I'm encouraging you guys to definitely take time out and understand that you are enough. No matter how anybody makes you feel, you are enough. Okay? No matter how life is rolling around on you, stumping you a little bit, you still enough. Okay? So make sure you're telling yourself that all the time. I know that gets hard. I know times get rough. And we don't feel like we are, but we are. Okay? I should do my cards before I start, knowing that I'm always messing up my index cards. Okay. So, and let's shuffle our oracle cards at the same time. Get them prepared and ready to roll. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. So we're going to start with the oracle card first. Okay. So let's see what it says here. So number one is we're doing a review on life. I know that's kind of opposite of what we normally do. But because we're doing a tree reading, well, using the tree as the reading, we're looking at it like this. So what's review of what's going on in our lives right now? Can we sit back and look at everything that's going on in our lives? So we're going to start with that. So the first thing that comes up is escapism. That's the first thing that comes up. Escapism. Detach from daily struggles and relax, but don't use it as a form of avoidance. And sometimes that's what we do. Okay? Sometimes that's what we do. So our first, wow, look, this is the first card that comes out. The Eight of Cups, walking away. Is escapism, could that be the same thing? Could that be the same thing? Huh? Could that be the same thing? Walking away. All right, so let's see what the next card tells us. The next one talks about the Temperance card. Okay? The Temperance card is coming up. Okay? We look at the Temperance card. We look at it in the feminine energy first and foremost. That's what I see first. I see the ideal that it's showing some feminine energy out of there. I'm also seeing that it's time, it's also time, she is like the person or the symbolism of divine timing. So some things that are going on right now, because again, we're talking about review. We're looking back at things that are going on in our lives right now. She's also the person who, or the symbolism of harmony in life. So if there's some things you've already tried to walk away from, right? And you've actually done that, okay? You've walked away, you've made your choice, and you walked away to higher ground. So, in other words, you're leveling up, right? And then we look at her, she's coming in and saying everything is done in divine timing, okay? Everything is being done in divine timing. And that's what you want, okay? Now, another thing we're looking at, oh, look. Wow. So we're looking at the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles talks about planning. So it's talking about you've already planted some things that have already started growing in your life. So like remember, we're reviewing. So look at what he's doing. He's actually reviewing what he's already done. And then he's also making plans. When we talk about the Eight of Cups moving forward, going to the next level, there we go. He's actually planning on what next can I grow. Okay. All right. Okay. And then now we have another oracle card that's going to come in and be here now. Ha! Ha! I love it. Balance productivity with self-care and mindfulness to savor the moment. There we go. There we go. That's right. That right there explains someone's review of what's going on in their lives right now. Okay? Perfect explanation of that. Whew. Okay, so let's talk life force. What is your life force right now? Right? Death, doing away with things. The Ten of Swords represents doing away with things. So again, when you're walking away, right? Death to things that no longer matter. Remember, or no longer benefits you. Okay? No longer benefits you. Okay? Oh, there we go. So the Devil card symbolizes bondage and addictions, right? But if I say that this symbolizing death to things that no longer serve you, this is just clarifying that there is something that you're doing that is not benefiting you. And that's why you need to let it go. Okay? All right? Something you're addicted to, something that you're doing that is not moving you forward. The next level of where you want to be in your life. Okay? So then look, it also tells you right here is that you, which is the Eight of Pentacles, this is describing your master skills or you mastering. You again, you're leveling up, right? So you want to have a skill, right, that is going to benefit you leveling up. Okay? Wow. That is your life force. Okay? All right. So the Chariot comes out. The Chariot comes out. And the Chariot talks about alignment. Being in aligned with something. All right? Putting everything in the way it, in order for you to continue doing what you're doing, right? You need alignment. You need a relationship also with something. It doesn't mean romantically. We're talking a relationship with, it could be a business partner, it could be a, your relationship with your job, it could be anything, but whatever that relationship is, you're in alignment with it, okay? That's what your life force is showing you, okay? So let's talk about your health. What's going on with your health? So it says here, being the victim. Are you acting like a victim? Blaming external factors for your problems, be culpable for your actions. Yes. So if you're doing things or having things done that really is your choice, you can't blame everybody else for it. And that goes with your health, okay? That goes for your health. Okay? So just be careful when you say, well, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be being under this stress. No, because you allowed somebody to stress you out. I wouldn't have high blood pressure if I didn't. Okay, but you keep saying you wouldn't have, and you keep using the word I. So how is everybody else involved in I? I is singular. So it's the situations that you keep getting yourself in and situations that you can walk away from and you decide not to, and this is causing you a lot of stress. So you're responsible for yourself. Every action you make is your responsibility. Okay? Now, the Two of Cups comes up. So this is a partnership coming together, alignment. When we talked about the life force with the Chariot, the alignment, putting together, making an agreement on the same wavelength. Okay? That's with your health. Okay? Now we're talking, the Tower card is coming out with your health. Doing away with things that are not benefiting you. We're going back to that again. Doing away with things that are not benefiting you. Okay? Things that are not benefiting you. Okay? Next one. Oh, look. Okay? So we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords talks about someone walking away from you. So whatever is going on with you, it could mean that it's you the problem, right? It could be you the problem. So just be careful with what you're doing because people are not going to allow you to continue playing the victim, okay? People are not going to keep letting you play the victim, okay? So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next one, let's talk about your work. What's going on with your work sector? Materialism. Are you caught up on materialism? Relentless, pursuing wealth and possessions and putting them above care of others. Are you that materialistic that that's more important than you enjoying the job you're doing and how it benefits other people in the process of benefiting yourself? This is a question. Okay, so we have the Hermit card came out. So we look at the Hermit card. The Hermit card basically is talking about wisdom, going away and retrospecting, introspecting, seeing how things are working out in your work sector. Okay, you need some time away, maybe away from work, to see if this is what you want to continue doing. Because now you're again materialism comes up. So when that comes up, and we're talking wisdom, the decision you're making with your money or how you're dealing with your work. Again, everything is connected to everything, right? We just talked about your health. Now we're talking about work. Do you need to take a break because you're doing all these things and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but in reality is you might need to just step away. Just step away for a moment, right? And catch yourself. See where you're at. And maybe you have to make some different decisions. Wow. The Moon card came out. Dreams, right? Dreaming to have a better situation or things that are happening and they're coming to the light now. Okay? Illumination, right? Illuminating all the things that need to happen in order for you to be either, like I said, level up or be a better person. Okay? And then look, when that happens, now look at, you have the world in your hand, right? So you're looking at expansion. You're looking at doing better. You're looking at, again, leveling up. Okay. All right. So that's a good thing. So let's talk about your relationships. What's going on in your relationships? You're unsettled. You don't know what you want. Look before you leap from thing to thing without making real commitment. You don't know what you want. You're confused a little bit. Okay. And you're hopping from relationship to relationship. Okay. And you don't know what you want. When you don't know yourself, it's easy to not know what you want. I'm just saying, when you don't know yourself, and I'm not talking about on the surface, I'm talking about deep within yourself. When you don't know yourself, you'll go from one relationship to another begging for somebody to love you, when reality is the love is within you. All right, look, juggling, flexibility, being flexible in a relationship. The Two of Pentacles, being flexible, being able to balance things, right, in a relationship. Okay. Another pentacle coming out. So we have the Page of Pentacles coming out, right? Someone giving you something, someone being there, you being that person that's eager to know better, to manifest what you want in a relationship, right? Standing on solid ground whenever you're making that decision to start over with someone or with someone different, knowing what it is, manifesting what you want, opening up your mouth and letting the universe know what you are looking for, okay, in a relationship once you do it. But I think, and I keep saying it, if you don't know yourself, anybody will do. Can I say that again? I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but when you don't know yourself, anybody will do. And then too, it says here that you need to be a little bit ambitious on what you want, and also be more creative in your, I think you should look at, because we all have certain standards when it comes to relationship. I'm talking about love. Let me first pull this out. I'm talking about love. When we talk about love relationships and family relationships and friendships are different. But a love relationship, it's good to be creative. When I say creative, maybe you need to switch up some of your wants in a relationship. Okay? Just something to think about. Okay? So now we're going to talk about your money. Excuse me. What's going on with your money? The Emperor. The Emperor is here. So when we talk about your money and the Emperor, we're talking about personal power, having power over your money and knowing what to do with it, right? So in the process of us evolving or elevating, there are things in our lives that have to be looked at and changed. And sometimes, not everybody, because some people have their money situation down pat and they know how everything works and everything has been working well for them. But there are a lot of us who don't. So basically, he's coming in and he's giving you that power to say that I have power over my money, and how I do it is important, and it's how it's going to reflect back on me. So having the personal power to look at your money situation, right? And it also talks about an inspired action you take with your money. What can I do with my money? The other night on our one of my podcasts that I do, we talked about stocks, investments, right? And it was very enlightening and it was very encouraging to the listeners, because people don't think that they can afford to do that. but they can. And we gave them different ways of being able to speak about their money in the sense that understanding that, yeah, you can invest. You're not that broke that you can't invest. We talked about the ideal of how we spend our money, what we find necessary to spend our money on. We talked about materialism, how that overrides our pockets being always broke. We always not having enough to do other things because of the choices that we make with our money. So he's saying you have personal power. And if your money is reflecting that power, then you're going to do the right thing with it. Okay? That's what the emperor says. Wow. So we have the Three of Swords. Is someone in a process of dealing with pain and it's affecting their money? Okay? Someone's in the process of dealing with some pain and it's actually affecting their money. That's what this is saying. Okay? And I also see leakage because when you look at the swords deep inside the heart, so is there some leakage? Is some money leaking out somewhere? Is someone wasting money? I see that too. That can cause pain too. Again, getting a hold and knowing how to spend your money, looking at where your money is coming from and where it's going out, because that's what that says, going in and going out. You have to pay more attention to that. Okay? Wow. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. We got a lot of these major arcanas coming up. The Wheel of Fortune card. The Wheel of Fortune talks about cycles, changes, right? It talks about changes that can happen. So there's a possibility that there's some changes coming in with your money, okay, right? And how you're handling it. Shouldn't that be something you would definitely want to pay attention to, right? I mean, I think it's very important, yeah. So there's changes happening, and you have to recognize those changes with your money, okay? And only you're responsible for that. Nobody else is. You're responsible for that. So let's see what your oracle card says. Avoidance. Are you avoiding something? Hello, you guys. Are you avoiding something? It's the key to see the need to avoid discomfort, but also to overcome it and thrive. So there might be somebody with some money issues going on, and that right here kind of tells you that. So you're trying to get away from, you're trying to escape. Remember up here when we talked about review, we talked about escapism. You're trying to get away from it. You're trying to avoid paying something. You're trying to avoid looking at your budget. You know that there's some leakage going on somewhere. Some leakage is going on somewhere, but you're trying to avoid it. That's not the answer because changes are going to happen. Okay? Changes are going to happen. All right. That's in your money part. Okay? That's your money sector. Let's talk about what's going on at home. What's going on at home? Okay. We have the hangman. The hangman. So when we talk about the hangman, we're talking about somebody who's just, when you look at the hangman, he's just there. He's waiting. He's being patient. Whatever's going on in the home, someone is sitting back and they're waiting. I don't know if they're waiting for a fallout or they're waiting for some answers on something, but they're waiting. They're not being impatient. They're not trying to push forward. They're just waiting. They're looking at things. They're taking in things. They're making sure everything's in the right perspective before, if it needs to be, something needs to be said or done, any type of action that needs to be taken. That's what they're for. Okay? The Ace of Pentacles are there. So whatever the wait is, divine timing, remember the Temperance tells us about divine timing, right? So whatever it is, right, It's coming out. It's going to happen. So that's the Ace of Pentacles, right? Which is a good thing, because not only that is showing, this is also showing the same thing. And that's under relationships. It talks about solid beginnings. This talks about new beginnings. So some good things are coming. And that divine timing, look, the divine timing and the hangman all is saying that. And even though that's in the home sector, okay, again, all of these are connected. Even though that's in the home sector, the home is the foundation of how this happens. Your life and home is where everything starts, right? So definitely, I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. The next one is justice. Someone is looking for justice. Someone is looking for justice. Wow. So someone is looking for truth, right? Someone is looking for somebody to tell the truth about something that's happening, right? In the home, right? And we also, in the home, we're talking about truth and balance. Truth and balance. When we talk about balance, we're talking about alignment. We also talking about alignment. Not only are we talking about alignment, we're talking about partners. We're talking about synchronicity. We're talking about an agreement. Okay? So in the home, there is a need for this. Justice needs to be in place. Balance needs to be in place. So all through here, we've already seen balance, alignment. We're talking new beginnings, solid beginnings. So all of that is needed when we talk on the level of this reading. So all of those things are needed. So let's see what the Oracle card tells us. Mysterious shift. There will be a mysterious shift happening. Personal growth can happen quickly and in ways you may not initially understand. There we go. There we go. That's in the home. I love it. 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 All right. So next one is our spirit. What's going on inside our housing unit, which is our housing. I call the outside home, but the inside is our housing unit where our spirit is, right? So let's see what's going on there. Wow, someone is celebrating. Somebody is celebrating. This is the Four of Wands. Celebration, good things are happening. So in your spirit, someone's spirit, not directly you is just a general label. Whatever is going on is good in your spirit. Okay. So we already know you're going in the right direction. Okay. You're going in the right direction because you're finding joy. Okay. Now we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is coming in. And the King of Swords is showing us what? The masculine, okay, authority, right? He's talking masculine authority, right? And he's showing us leadership. So we know you have a spirit of leadership, right? And you're having that quality in your spirit and allowing it to work. Is also talking also about ambition again, okay? But this is our intellectual ambition that we're holding on to when it comes to our spirit. So you have those qualities, okay? And I would use them wisely. Definitely. Oh, wow. So now we have the Lovers. The Lovers are coming out in the spirit. So again, this talks about balance, talks about alignment, It talks about coming together, right? Okay. And remember, when we talk lovers, that could be you and you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a person, another person. It could be you and you. That could be you facing yourself, right? Because again, we're talking about spiritual. So when we talk spirit, we're talking about ourselves, right? Us coming together with ourselves. Okay? You like, how are we fractionated? Yeah, there are times when we're not together. And that's why it's easy for us to fall for anything and everything, because we're not what we say together, right? And the time that we get together is when the hermit comes in and take that time out to kind of look at what's going on inside of us, right? So what does the oracle card tells us? Vulnerability. Wow. Face hidden anxieties and insecurities head on and don't let them control you. So again, remember we talked about avoidance. We talked about escapism. And right here is telling you, don't do that, right? Just face whatever it is. But when we're in a vulnerable state, sometimes that's hard, especially when you think about it on the spiritual level, right? Okay, so we're almost there. Again, hello, you guys, for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out with me on our Wednesday readings here on Queen Universal. So let's talk about lessons. So we're going to do this and we're going to end it with our lessons. What have we learned here about ourselves, right? What have we learned here? So we learned here, starting with the Oracle card, is we feel entitled. We actually feel entitled. Expecting special treatment without earning it. Be grateful for what you have. So, look, when we look at materialism, okay, and we look at materialism, we look at the ideal that we feel that because I've done this, I am entitled. But the done is not even there. The things that you're doing is not even there. Okay? It's saying having entitlement when you haven't done the work. Okay? So, our escapism, we acting like we're the victim, all these different things that are coming up that really is not us. And we need to kind of stop doing some of those things, right? Okay? Oh, the Hierophant. The Hierophant comes out. We know that the Hierophant talks about teaching, right? Talking about learning, because you see the students there. So I'm looking at it from this standpoint, is somebody's watching you. Somebody is trying to be that person that's using you as an example, okay? Because, we look up to people, right? So these two are students listening to them. So there's people out there listening to you, okay? They're watching everything you do. They're either learning positive things from you or they're learning negative things from you. It's your choice how you put it out there, okay? All right? Yeah, that's a lesson that we can learn. Wow. And then the Magician, having all the resources and using them, right? Very talented person, right? So we know you have talent. We know you do. You just got to work it. You have talent because you were able to plan ahead. You have talent because you were able to grow things, right? You were able to expand things. So we know you have talent. All right. And it's also talking about manifesting. So we know you can manifest because it showed it in the Ace of Pentacles. You can manifest. So we know you have all those powers. We know you have those powers, right? Okay, here we go. with the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords talks about learning, being eager to learn more things. So we already know that that's a possibility through the whole reading. You're a smart, intelligent person and persons, because we're not just talking about one person, right? So we know you have all the skills. You know how to be flexible. You know how to balance stuff out. You know how to align things, right? You know how to step higher to go to the next level. You know those things. That's not some surprise to you. But are you doing it? That's the issue. Are you actually doing it? Are you removing people out of your life that's not working for you? Okay? But you're eager to know more. We talked about that in the 8 of Pentacles. Mastering. Eager to learn and mastering those things. Right? Okay. All right, so the last card is self-reflection. Yes, 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 yes. That is what the Hermit card does. That's what the Hermit card does. Having an opportunity to reflect, go back inside, introspecting. Okay? Introspecting. So it says looking inward helps you see what to improve and to make better choices. There we go, right there. Wow. I know that was a lot at one time. I do know that. That's why I love this reading, because it goes deeper than just the surface. That's what I love about this reading. So I hope this reading was very good for you guys. Thank you. Can I? So you want to ask a question? Go ahead, ask a question. Did someone want to read it? Let me see. Yes, go ahead, ask a question. Hello, yep. So if you want to ask a question, go ahead and ask a question. I'm listening. Anybody has any questions for me before we close out shop? Anybody? Anybody got a question? Anybody? Anybody got a question? No questions? All right, thank you guys for hanging out with us over here on Queen Universal. I will be going over to Black Queen's reading on my Facebook page to do my other reading in a few minutes. So if you want to follow me over there. Okay, what is your question? Came in my home in August. Who came in my home? I have no idea who came in your home August. I'm not a fortune teller. Sorry, I'm not a fortune teller. I have no idea. Readers don't do fortune tellers. Not all of us have that ability. We can read, but we don't tell fortunes. Sorry. Wish I could help you. But thank you guys. Hang out with me next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday. I'll be back Wednesday. Oh, I just want to let you know, Monday is my birthday. I am a hellified Aquarius, and I live up to my whole personality. All right? So you guys have a great evening and afternoon, because it's still afternoon. And I'm going to let you go. Bye-bye.